Hello and welcome back to After the Game here on the Chop Shop Network. This After the Game episode is for Shadowguard Dungeons and Dragons episode 22, right guys? 23.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is episode
22.
Was it?
22.
I was told it was 22. If not, we blame L.
Typical.
22.
No, she's typically right on this.
swear to
You
God,
guys are
it's 22.
typically wrong.
I believe her. Anyway, we just finished playing the session and we're talking about it now. So I don't even know where we were before.
I was going on about how Glad's adventure with us has been one long clusterfuck after another. Well, it started off, okay, so he comes and gets us in town, and then we like dick around for a little bit for an episode, and then we go start moving out towards wherever, Davenport, and we dick around a little bit on the road, running some other shit. Then we get stopped, and it's like, oh, now we got to deal with these orcs that are being a problem. Spent 3 episodes hanging out with orcs. Spent another 2 episodes trying to get to Davenport. Then we get to Davenport. We spend, a day wandering around like idiots. Another day being like, oh yeah, sure, we can totally go inside the sewer after we killed a small child. And then we spent the entire time in the sewer. Then we decided that, oh, hey, this is a great idea. Let's go fight some people. And then we spent today trying to survive, not getting drowned under the water by this piece of shit Alp. And now we spent another day having to go do some more research to find the Alp's cave. So at least 3 more episodes with Glad.
I'm
You
fine.
say that like it's a bad thing.
You trying to
want me
get-
down that bad?
Yeah, you trying to get rid of Glad or what?
No, I like playing with Glad. It's just that Glad's not very useful.
That's not true. Glad double critted 2 monsters in a row.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
for
killed
sure.
2 of those things today.
He saved me
saved
today.
your life.
He saved me today, but I saved his life at least like 4 times.
I mean, to be fair, if I didn't kill that thing, I would have jumped in the boat anyways and left you. So,
This is typical Glad behavior every time. I just stitched the halfling. He's a piece of shit anyway.
like I said, Glad's very utilitarian. So,
That makes sense. I mean, he's a stern dwarf. He's a ranger. Of course he's utilitarian.
Man, we need to stop working with the Shadow Suns or whatever they're called, Red Suns.
I don't know. I think that everyone in the group thinks that Glad's more trustworthy than Luke, probably.
I don't know if that's exactly true.
I think trustworthiness, yes, definitely. Combat prowess, no, probably about the same.
I
Luke's
think
pretty
Luke
useless
is
in
more
combat.
strategic.
Yeah. Luke
I
is
soften
cunning.
them up for you guys to kill them usually. It's a perfect.
I soften them up and I take all their hits so that you can kill them.
I'm the tank. I run in there and I clean up everything.
Glad's got all that range for us. We need somebody. Well, I guess I have a little range, but we
Dude,
need
we're
somebody.
all range.
But not like, I guess you are too. Yeah, you're right.
Dude, we have
guys have
one
no
melee,
front
and
line,
it's
really.
the rogue.
Well, Glad
The
can do
rogue-
some melee too, obviously. Now he's got that fighter level. He'll be doing even better.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I took it because how often I was in melee, I figured it when it hurt.
Yeah,
Dude, rolling that one was brutal though.
I'm all in for you taking that.
Smart move.
This session was weird.
Well,
What?
why don't we go through the normal stuff, Charlie, and we can everybody go through their things about the session.
Sure. Well, first though, why do you think it was weird? I'm curious.
Well, okay, so this session was like, oh yeah, totally. Oh look, all these people are drowning around us, and now we have all this confliction. Do we stay and fight a losing battle? Well, obviously, as a player, you just want to leave the situation because you know it's bad. But as a character, we're like, maybe we should stay and help. It's the Shadowguard way, which is bullshit line because I made that up. I made up, oh yeah, this is the Shadowguard way when we were fighting orcs, and now that translated back into the story. But now I'm like, oh god, why did I even
Yeah,
say this?
But Magnus multiple times has said the Shadow Guard looks to do good where it can. He says that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
True. But I think more like Elle's character was picking up on like we should help people.
I like that.
even if it's not related to that.
I didn't think that was weird. I thought that was great. I thought it made sense and it added a lot of depth to the roleplay. Instead of us just being like, okay, bye, we leave on a boat now.
Peace.
It was like, oh, like we're acknowledging the fact that we're letting a bunch of people die, and it's not going to be the last conversation we have about it because we're characters with consciences, you know.
For sure, but like it's how as characters we approached it. So like my approach was like, well, they're gonna die. They might as well die by
You
our
guys-
hand in a good way.
I mean, I think burning to death is probably worse than drowning.
Yeah,
Well-
but they
Yeah, they're
can't come
both
back as
terrible.
zombies.
Like Magnus warned, he said, meddling with death is not a good idea. Meddling with undeath is one thing, but meddling with death is a whole other thing.
I actually liked that thought process of Madness at that point. I was like, I like it.
Thank you.
Well, I actually think that it says a lot about Luke is that Luke is willing to take the actions of ending somebody should the need arise, because he knows sometimes it's necessary to do it and it sucks, and he doesn't want anyone else to have that kind of burden. So he I'll just do it.
Well, I thought also it showed growth in Luke that like he was able to be reasoned with and like brought up his plan with us, things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like he still had his Luke idea happening, but we were able to. He gave us a chance to like spin input on it, and then he like, was reasonable, which was cool. That was a good that whole role play was really good. Well, so from there let's get into our favorite parts. So everyone give me like favorite moment, like what you thought was the peak moment, or maybe peak cool moment that someone else did, or just situation that we had, and then tell me what you were proud of when you role played today, or like when you role played your character the most honestly. Let's start with Glad.
So, overall, I just really love that fight. I like fights that make you think, because we couldn't win, so we had he said win to run, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. I think it's an interesting fight always when you have to like where's the line? When do we cross the line? Or like, okay, let's run now.
I gave you guys experience for how many you saved.
Oh, cool.
So,
Nice.
Yeah. So the more you save, the more experience you ended up with.
We probably could have done a better job there. I was thinking that like if we had thought like more intelligently right off the bat, like we should have disconnected one barge and gotten all of the oars out of all the boats onto one barge immediately, and then had like all the people trying to row just one big barge away while we fought. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but to jump in there, it's survival of the fittest at that point, where everyone's like, well, time for me to try to save myself, and all the people that selfishly went for themselves died.
Yeah, and that's true.
Yeah.
And the fact that we didn't immediately have a plan kind of showed the chaos of the event.
I like how I tried to get everybody to come to the center of the barge so we could like perform create a defensive circle, and everyone's just like, nope, fuck this. Don't listen to the team that just won this fighters brawl. Let's go it alone with our own ideas.
So, Glad, give us your role-playing highlight for yourself. When were you the most gladiest?
I think when I jumped onto the boat. Where I'm just like, screw this. I'm taking the quickest way out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Just...
I agree.
You kind of led the charge in that respect.
And I actually made it out for a change instead of going down and then everyone swarming to save me.
And instead of us accidentally hanging you and choking you between two ropes.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's go to Elle. Elle, what was your favorite situation or moment or something another character did? And what was your most Elliest Elle moment of the session?
I liked that Luke brought up the Raven figurine because I had completely forgotten about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that ended up helping. Well, I mean, disappearing, I guess.
I mean,
a good thing.
It added to the story too. Like just like when we got back, there was people there like helping us ashore and stuff.
Mm-hmm. It did drive the elf off.
It did drive her off because otherwise it could have been a fight with you guys in the shape you were in against her.
Yeah.
Like she wanted.
Yeah.
I liked your impression that you did like a little like wing flap.
Poof. And then for favorite old moment was her caring again, I guess.
Yeah,
Sorry, I think
ahead.
that she's just been thinking about Valna so much that she cares more about what's happening to people.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's clouding her judgment a little bit, but yeah.
I love it. I like see the growth in Elle, and I see the growth between like Magnus and Elle. Like we have like deeper conversations as characters now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I really like all the role play between you and me today about like staying and saving the people. I thought was really nice. And I think too that like maybe it's just like Elle and Magnus and Luke, like all of us, like we're like actually proper Shadowguard agents now. You know, I feel like we were just kind of doing like piddly jobs, before like the actual gameplay started, like our history in the Shadowguard, and then like we haven't been doing much other jobs, and like the more we go, the more we see like people die because of this, and like we're actually out here to like save people, and that's why we fight vampires and monsters, and like it affects a shitload of people, you know what I mean? And it's like a big evil, and I think we're all like growing more aware of like how dire and serious that is, and especially like Elle, with Volna gone too. I feel like we're all rounding out morally, or like taking the Shadowguard more seriously as we go,
For sure.
Yeah, thanks so much, Al. And Luke, what about you?
So I'm not trying to say this because it's like selfish. I think one of my favorite parts of the session is actually Luke's ability to be able to stop and be like, all right, I can rely on my teammates here.
Yeah.
So let's see here. I was like, oh, Elle, use the figurine. That's what we have it for. This is a perfect situation in which we're in a pinch and we need some help. Like, this is a great opportunity. And then as a character, Elle's like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll get that done. And it's like, great. And it's like, oh, crap, I need help. Somebody help me. And, God's like, all right.
Magnus helped too.
Go. And then I fall in the water. Elle helps me out. Magnus is there to help me, like, make decisions. It's good on.
Well, when you were being attacked and Glod killed that thing and Magnus ran away, Magnus purposefully, because last time like we kind of abandoned you or whatever in the sewer, and you were salty about that. So Magnus purposely was like run away, like I'm giving you a chance to run away by slowing it down, and like shot my ray of frost at it as I backed up, but then Glod killed it before you had a chance to like escape.
Yeah, which I'm totally fine with, but this is like the ability to do this session to be like, oh, thank God I can rely on my teammates. Like, they're there to help me if I ask, instead of like, fuck you.
It showed growth from like every character in a lot of ways, and that was cool.
Yeah, which is good. It's good on like our team though. That's what I really like about it. Like it involves me, but it involves everybody else. That's what I really enjoyed.
Okay, what about your Lukiest Luke moment? When were you the most Luke?
Dude, it has to definitely be with the fishbowl. Putting the fishbowl on the head, being like, well, let's be like a whack job here. Oh, hey, look, underwater. Like, oh, that's definitely a problem. How can I solve this problem? I know, classic Luke, procedure. Just shoot first and ask questions later.
The fishbowl was brilliant. I loved it. So funny, and very Luke. You're right. Okay,
Super Luke.
Let's do our dungeon master, Melwind. What was your favorite situation or moment in the session?
I enjoyed. I mean, you guys kind of all already said it in a sense. I enjoyed the conflict of what do we do. Like there was a point where you guys were like, we let these people die, or do we go back and try to save them and more than likely die ourselves? Mm-hmm. Like I think that was like that conundrum when you were all on the boat ready to leave, but like with Elle bringing up like. But they have nowhere to go, and I didn't want to bring it up earlier in the fight because you guys, combat was insane. Everything was chaotic. There was no time to worry about the 7 or 8 people that were stuck on the boat that had nowhere left to go until that brief moment when you finally to safety get a chance to look around, and it's like, shit.
Well, I think like we as players, or at least me, and I'm sure probably Jazzy too, kind of felt that tension, like that moral tension, like, oh God, like what do I do? I felt it. I felt the weight of it. What about your proud dungeon master moment?
Oh God, there's so many of them. I'm honestly, I'm really proud of how this encounter just went in general. I went almost planned.
I was gonna say, I think the concept of the floating barge battle arena in general, it's awesome. That's like when I think of like really good dungeon mastering, I think like fantastic locations, things like that. Like taking your just standard old pit fighting match and then making it this cool ocean centric thing, and then like having a disaster break out. It was very much like a action movie or superhero movie or something like that. Very cool.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So I actually have a question for everybody else. Because we ended the last session on a cliffhanger of what this was going to become. I want to know what you guys actually thought it was going to be, or what was going on before you actually found out.
I figured it was actually probably something similar. Or I figured it was more like 1 or 2 of the people in the crowd were like possessed thralls and were blending in, like they threw off their cloaks and started like shredding people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I guessed.
Okay, that's pretty close. Um,
I was guessing eagles or gargoyles or some bullshit like that, where I'm like, oh my god, why is this got to show up now?
There was a moment when you said something about someone falling in the water at the very beginning. I thought it was a water weird, maybe.
yeah, okay, yeah. Oh man, the whole boat in the water weird. That would have sucked.
Jazzy, what were you gonna say?
The last time we were talking about it being sharks, and it was like kind of sharks, but like monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharky type men, carnivorous, drowned zombie people.
Yeah, that's kind of the reason why I wanted to murder those people. Like, that's the other thing that I would get back to that. It's like, I really want to just like murder those people because like around Luke, there has to be a 50% chance of survival.
Yeah.
It can't be 100%. It's got to be 50.
So, we haven't heard Yetis yet, and I want to.
No, we did his first.
Oh, we did. I must have missed.
We haven't done mine yet. And my favorite moment, or like something that someone else did in the session, by far was when Elle was like really playing off her character's leftover motivations from the arena. When she like charged back into battle as we were all like jumping on the boat, I was like, fuck yeah. I thought that really showed the most evolution in Elle we've seen so far. Partly because I think you know the rules a little better of battle, but also it was like you were just so confidently ran in, and that was like not always your character, but you were like thriving off the adrenaline, like saving your friends, and like, fuck this, I'm just gonna be heroic and run in there with my giant sword, and you did.
I think 1-on-1, Elle probably could have taken all those monsters, 1v1.
And there one couple get a couple hits in. That's all it would take.
Yeah, but she's just got to take potions all day.
Yeah.
She had the potion supply to do it.
It would have been kind of fun to like just eat those potions I had and play it out till the end, like dusk till dawn style. Like we just stay and fight until like we're done.
Speaking of that, I need to make a jackhammer or jack steak thing, whatever you want to call it.
So my Magnus moment, I really liked just the idea of like seeing the Alp finally through the lens and like realizing what it was, and like in the aftermath of all this shit as we're like rowing ashore, like handing the scope back to Luke and being like, that was it for sure. Like it's attacking with its minions, and like just I don't know, I felt like that put a good dynamic on the NPC Eric Pridehammer, who was with us too.
Yeah.
And and honestly just everyone's like role plays. Every time we role played with each other with the NPC tonight, it was just so good. It was so in character. It was like pushing the story forward, and those are like the two best things you can ask for. I think it was really great.
I do want to jump in here and add something. The whole thing about Luke at the end kind of being a dick to the guy is kind of a subtle, like, fuck you. We could avoid this whole situation if you just told us this shit to begin with.
Yep, and didn't make us go out. I don't disagree. Magnus is just trying to be polite so we still got the information, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was a dick. That's why I drilled a hole through his floor with my pet. I was like, fuck you, dude. You could have told us to begin with, and we'd have way more people here now. But you chose to be selfish.
The big thing, like because you mentioned the Alp, and I was going to mention at a point, is all of that's happened to you guys in that one day was from her planning, almost in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
She found out about this, and she got this together quick enough.
Well,
she sent you to the sewers intentionally to weaken you.
That's why Magnus was like, we got to find where she lives now and strike there first before she's able to pin us in a situation like that again.
Yeah, her cunningness is definitely a very deadly thing, and I feel like
the cunning
it really showed it off.
Cunning mixed with a boatload of minions, yeah, totally. Like trying to kill us without even having to be near us. But like Magnus sees that, and like now I want to like find where she lives and strike before she has a chance.
But to add something in on this is good news. This means that she's afraid of us to the point where she has to use her cunning and guile to try to eliminate us rather than take us on a one-on-one fight or like up front.
I totally agree, and I think that's something you should mention in character next session, possibly.
Well, I'm totally going to mention it to her and call her a coward.
Well, great guys, this is a great conversation about the session. It was an awesome session, honestly. This whole arc has been great. I'm really loving it, but especially the battle barge arc was a lot of fun. Nice to end like another little arc in this larger arc we're working towards the end of. I really like that feeling. And it was a great session. Great combat, awesome roleplay, story-driven combat, story-driven roleplay, and everybody did really well tonight. And thanks so much for joining me for the after the game chat too, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
And thanks to you, Dungeon Master ML, for running this awesome game as usual. And then thanks to you, the viewers, for tuning in. Make sure you click that subscribe button right above my head there. Check out the the episode if you haven't. If you haven't checked out the episode, why are you watching this? Go back and watch it. And check out some of our other awesome shows too. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Boy.
Shop, shop.